Joining us now, Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, as he does throughout the season. A lot of talk about Kristian Campbell putting in the work at first base, kind of very publicly, because there's not a lot of places here at Fenway to hide to go do that work, right? Talk a little about that process for a new guy. And one thing I've heard from a lot of people about Campbell is his ability to adapt to different, right? He's already learned different positions. Why was he a good candidate for first base, and how's it gone so far in the work?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things that work in his favor. He's versatile. He's played a bunch of positions. He played a bunch of positions last year at multiple stops. He's incredibly athletic, and he works really, really hard. He's a guy that I think for a long time the PD group had praised for his ability to make adjustments in real time, and we're seeing that just over the course of a couple of days. Talking to Flo in the infield group, where he was 3 or 4 days ago relative to where he is now has been really, really impressive. To the point that they're obviously working on fielding ground balls and footwork, but they're starting to introduce some of the nuance around playing first base, some of the decision making, and where you need to be on cutoffs and relays and those types of things.
Is there a timetable? Maybe not for him right now per se, but for this in general, like going into this, is there sort of a blueprint you look at, or is it really day-to-day, the improvement you're seeing and setting up next steps?
Yeah, I don't think there's a playbook for this. We're going to lean on Kristian's feedback and the evaluation of the group, and we'll make a decision together about, if and when this becomes viable.
Over the weekend, Alex Cora said, he'd love to get a 10-run lead or something to give them the ability to go out there. If you got that tonight or tomorrow, is he there yet, or is it still working?
I think that's a decision that I would largely leave in the hands of the coaching staff. And, obviously the leeway that a 10-run lead can provide you gives us a chance to test that a little bit, where it's not super high leverage and the game isn't on the line. I'm not sure we're quite there yet, but I do think we're making quite a bit of progress.
You'll take a 10-run lead anytime you can get it.
Absolutely.
I thought that would be the case. We are seeing incredible production from Rafael Devers right now. It's sort of David Ortiz type DH stuff. Mm-hmm. Does that change the narrative about whether or not he is someone to consider at first base when a guy is going go back to David Ortiz, right? He could play first base, but he did so well as a designated hitter, nobody really wanted to mess with that. Does a guy sort of get to that position? Where's Devers at with that right now? Does this change anything?
Well, I think the first thing is you're exactly right. The offensive production that we've gotten out of Rafi really since the second week of the season has been incredible. And even in the first week of the season where he was struggling with swings and misses, he never really expanded out of the zone. So you knew at some point he was going to get himself on time and he was going to start to produce. And the fact that, he's making great swing decisions, he's not expanding outside of the zone, coupled with being on time and hitting the ball really hard, makes him a really, really, really impressive offensive threat. Now, as it relates to, playing first base and a potential transition, I'm always going to be anchored to exploring possibilities that I think are best for the team. And best for the team sometimes means making a decision, and sometimes it means not making a decision or allowing the status quo to remain. So the conversations will continue to happen internally, and ultimately we're going to kind of be anchored to what we think is best. Have there been any conversations with Rafi about it over the recent days? I've had conversations with Rafi. I've had conversations with all of the guys on the team. At the same time, I think it's best right now to keep those internal and just to give some space and distance to some of those. Alex Cora missing yesterday for a really important day for his family. Talk a little about how the organization allows management, that work-life balance that can really make a difference to someone over the course of a long season. Yeah, no, I mean, this job is such that, when you give your life to baseball, it can be all-consuming, and it's really, really important organizationally, and I feel it's really important personally that we recognize that we're people, and above all else, Alex and I, we're dads, right? We're fathers, and I was wildly supportive of Alex attending Camilla's graduation, and I've got 3 kids of my own. I don't plan to miss their graduation, so that was a really special moment for him. It was a special moment for Camilla, and the fact that he had to defend that decision is ridiculous. Yeah, no doubt about that. Here on that. Alex Bregman here with Juan Soto here right now. So there's a lot of talk about the revisiting discussions this winter. You guys were in on Soto. You signed Bregman. There are opt-outs with Bregman. But when you've got a guy performing as well as Alex Bregman is, anytime you have somebody like that and there's a possibility to opt out, is that something you sort of kick the tires on and talk about the future? Is that an ongoing conversation? Is it not something that usually comes in during the course of a season? Sort of take us in when you have a player in that situation who has the ability to leave.
How do you sort of handle that as the season progresses?
Yeah, I guess just as there's no set playbook for in-season transition to first base, there's really no set playbook for conversations about players with opt-outs. The one thing that we are really excited about is the fact that Alex is a member of the Red Sox, and he has been better than advertised in terms of the fit on the team and the fit on the field and also in the clubhouse. We see what a great match he is for this park and as a leader in the clubhouse. So those conversations, if and when the time is appropriate, we'll explore. But right now we know that he's a member of the Red Sox for 2025, and we're really, really grateful for that.
Walker Buehler back tonight, was really hitting his stride, it looked like, over the last 3-4 starts before the injury. Seems like kind of dodged a bullet that the injury, the bursitis, was not that bad.
Yeah, and even when he went on the IL, he was pretty adamant that this was, more of a hiccup than a true hurdle. And just given where we were in the season, it made more sense to be proactive and give him a chance to catch his breath and recover. He had strung together, some impressive outings and was building momentum. Hopefully he can pick back up on that tonight.
Good stuff. We appreciate the visit, Greg. Thanks.
Thank you.